Alrighty, so I hope you're excited about this one. We've got our hands on the Corsair Obsidian 800D chassis, which may be up for case of the year. There's been a ton of hype about this unit as it is Corsair's first case on the market, and they've been known to produce some real top quality products. The company says to develop this case, they've got feedback from enthusiasts and consumers and basically styled the case around what we wanted. Now, they obviously missed a few suggestions as there's no mini fridge. Now, with that said, the case is not cheap. It rings in at a whopping $299. So the question is it worth it? Well, let's take a look. We take our usual look at the dimensions. The majority of the case is constructed out of a thick steel, and as you may be able to see, it has a matte black sort of powder coat finish throughout the entire case. The front panel is a bit different, and it's made of a brushed black aluminum, so it is a little bit of a fingerprint magnet, but the two finishes go really well together. The case itself is enormous. It's 24 inches high, 24 inches in length, and 9 inches wide. It's not going to fit in your little computer cubby. Just a quick little warning to those who actually purchased the case. We used a few of these cases and found that the sticky front plastic protection will actually rip off a part of the painted Corsair logo at the bottom. So if you're doing it, be very careful. At the front, hidden behind a small panel, we have 4 USB ports, audio and microphone jacks, along with a FireWire connection and a reset switch. And then on the left, there is a power button and activity LEDs. The case has 5 external drive bays, and at the bottom, we have the best feature of the case, hot swappable drive trays. The front holds 4 hot swappable sleds, which are easy to remove and to install the drives. However, these racks are not screwless, so keep your tools handy. Corsair has also added an extra tidbit here. The front door can be swapped from either side, sort of depending on which way your case is going to sit. It takes all of a few seconds to switch over, and it's really handy. We have a window at the side of the case, and you'll notice a lack of rivets or screws on the outside, so it looks really flush with the rest of the side panel. Jumping to the back, we have 2 buttons which will release the side panels, plenty of venting, and holes for water cooling. There's also a 140mm exhaust fan, 7 PCI slots, and a vent underneath those slots. And then we have our bottom mounted power supply. There is also venting along the gap in the back panel for more airflow. Now the 800D is super easy to get into. There's no fiddling around with silly thumb screws. You push the button and pull off the side. That easy. Once you get inside, the first thing you notice is that the case is black. Everything is black, and the metal has the same matte tone as the outside. You'll even notice that the fans and the fan cables and headers are black. It keeps everything uniform, and it really enhances the look. The case is separated into 3 major chambers for the purpose of airflow. The bottom is the first and has plenty of room for extended power supplies, such as, say, the Corsair 1000 watt, plus other things like, say, a water cooling pump or small radiator. And then at the front, there is a second area for hard drives. The bottom rack can fit 2 3.5-inch drives, as well as a 120mm fan on the outside. And then above is the hot swappable enclosure and another 140mm fan. Now, Corsair has included these 3 covers, which are used to keep the chamber's airflow contained. It is recommended that you keep them on when the computer is operational. The case holds 5 5.25-inch ROM bays, each using a screwless lock system. The third area is for the meat of the case, the motherboard area. On the bottom panel, we have a 140mm fan, which pushes air up, as well as more tubing holes in case you have water cooling components underneath. Now, the cables will have no trouble getting to the motherboard thanks to these rubber grommets that you see surrounding the motherboard area. Everything is run up the back of the case and out through the tray. What Corsair is doing is forcing users to clean up their wiring and provided a great method for doing so. At the back, we have a CPU backplate cover which opens up a rather large opening, and the bottom has a removable cover as well if you want to free up some room underneath. Now, the 800D is designed to be simple and easy to wire, yet still look amazing. The chamber and grommet system had the potential to be an absolute disaster, really, but Corsair overlooked nothing. They provided plenty of room with perfect spacing so that no one is going to be caught with problems. Moving to our install, our full-sized ATX board looks rather small inside this enormous beast. The case supports MATX, ATX, and EATX motherboards, which all of the grommets are perfectly spaced for every form factor. As you can see, even with this super quick build that we did, the system looks impeccable. We did nothing special, just wired it up the easiest way possible, and it looks like something that should have taken hours. The front panel removes with little effort via a few internal clips. You'll need to take it off to install external drives and the 2 bottom hard drives. The drives fit in from the front and use screwless rails to slide into position. As we looked at earlier, there are 4 hot swappable drive bays. These are easy to get in and out, but the hard drives do require screws to be secured. They also support 2.5-inch SSDs. Now, in order to hook up the hot swappable modules, Corsair has included a special power cable and 4 black SATA wires in the accessories. These wire up cleanly through the back of the case, and then a cover can be installed over top to hide them. While there are only 7 expansion slots, there's an extra vent at the bottom which acts as a perfect exhaust point for a bottom-mounted video card, and there's a good inch below it for better airflow for the card. Now, probably one of the biggest attractions to the Corsair 800D is that it is literally unmatched in water cooling potential. With such a spacious interior, you're going to run out of things to put in it before you run out of space. One of the best features of this is the ability to mount up to a triple 120mm rad inside the case. There is a ton of room between the board and the 3 fan spaces at the top, meaning you can not only mount the rad inside, but also the fans. Now, we mentioned the cooling zones in the case earlier, but let's take a look at how the airflow should work. At the bottom, the power supply basically keeps itself cool, and the 140mm fan in the divider will pull air from underneath and up into zone 3. Now, the second zone at the front has fans mounted on the side. Not much good when the side panel's on, but put the covers over top and air should be pulled up from the bottom and then pushed through the hard drive cages. There are no fans or venting at the front of the case, so the entire basis of the thermal design relies solely on getting fresh air from underneath. Just make sure that the area is relatively clear and not blocking any intake ports. Alrighty, and that wraps up our look at the Corsair Obsidian 800D. For their first venture into the case market, this thing is amazing. It has Corsair's quality and ingenuity written all over it. They've included everything you've always wished a case would have and a few things you'd never even thought of. It has a great design that appeals to a lot of users and the quality is awesome. And cable management inside the case is awesome. The grommet system and separate bottom zones work perfectly and keep everything clean, and you don't have to be a master cabler to really make it look good. And to top it off, they've included some awesome features like integrated hot swappable drive bays and the ability to mount large internal radiators. Overall, this case is 100% awesome. Oh yeah, and there's no screwless drive trays, but we'll forgive them. And for the first time in a video review, we will be giving out the coveted Hardware Canucks Damn Good Award. Hope you enjoyed our look at the Corsair Obsidian 800D, and don't forget to subscribe to receive updates and check out our next video review.